A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Before starting with the event, I would like to put forth a few important instructions. Attendees are requested to join through either PC or laptop for a better visual experience. Attendees need to keep themselves on mute at all times. Questions may be posted over the chat box and all of your queries will be answered at the end.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you and dear students. So, yes.
Okay. Before starting off with the event, let us invoke the blessings of the Almighty. We now have the pious lamp lighting ceremony. May the glories of this Almighty light your way by pushing away all the darkness prevailing in our lives. That was a wonderful start to a wholesome and enlightening event waiting ahead of us. A budget is more than just a series of numbers on a page. It is an embodiment of our values. The annual budget has various criticalities and sector wise allocation. Therefore, it can be a pretty complex structure to understand. Like every year, the budget 2022-23 was announced on February 1, 2022. As commerce students, it becomes imperative for us to be aware of the budget. This year's union budget is focused on four key highlights, namely PM Gati Shakti scheme, financing of investments, inclusive development, productivity enhancement, energy transition, and climate action. The budget goals for 2022-23 aim to further India's aspiration in Amrit Kal as it moved towards its 100th year post-independence.
The budget is an outlay of our country's expenditure and spending for an annual year. Now, to give you an elaborate idea about the budget, we have some interesting facts to put before you. The very first budget was presented on November 26, 1947 by the Finance Minister R.K. Shanmukham Chetty. Our former Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi created history by being the first woman to present the budget in 1970-71. The 1991 budget is also known as the Apuchal budget as it marked the beginning of economic liberalization in India. Our former finance minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, became the first women finance minister to present the full-time union budget in 2019. In 2021, for the first time in Indian history, the budget was entirely paperless. That is, it wasn't printed, and all the MPs and government officials had to use soft copies through the official website.
Now, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for today. I'm extremely honored to introduce Dr. Kumar Bijoy. Sir is an assistant professor at Shaheed Sukhdev College of Business Studies, University of Delhi. Sir has completed his PhD in finance from University of Delhi Dr. Bijoy is a chartered financial analyst and an international trainer for the past 23 years for infrastructure projects, especially for roads and bridges and hydropower through various ministries like Ministry of Finance, Power, Labor and Employment, and Corporate Affairs. We are humbled beyond measure to have such knowledgeable speaker gracing the occasion today. I invite Sir to address the gathering now.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Brinda and others, and thank you, the entire teaching community there who has always given me a kind of honor to be part there. And I think this is going to be third time or fourth time with this Rajguru College also to have the budget analysis. And interestingly, it is my 25th budget analysis in my career. So last 25 years I have been doing this exercise. I will like to give you certain presentations which will, of course, unfold what is already there in public domain, but the analysis will be with respect to how, as a student of management and finance, we should look upon. The preparation is as such that it is something like meant for even I was presenting into public domain also, in a general public, mass public, as well as to government officials through Niti Aayog. So a good number of slides might be heavily, deeply factual and conceptual related to those officers. Those slides I'll simply pass through. But certainly what ought to be known to a student of finance, a student of economics, a students of management, those who are going to make their career in the field of economics and corporate finance, what is important, what they should focus, this is what we are going to discuss. And as it has already been instructed, you can ask question at the end. So I will try to finish as early as possible, but somehow not less than 50 minutes will require, because in Niti Aayog it had taken 3 hours to analyze. Because even a good number of professionals, unfortunately, when I was analyzing in Niti Aayog, at that time, 2 representatives of Ministry of Finance who were there in budget committee, they were also there as a participant. And when they also enjoyed the discussion. So I'll try to finish in 50 minutes of time, and I'll request you, if suppose something I'm skipping, it may be deliberate because it is meant for a different perspective. So without delay, I'm going to talk to you. What we really need, yeah, madam.
Okay, sir, it's fine now. Actually, आपकी screen पूरी present हो रही थी.
No, I was trying to see you people also. Now I am seeing only my screen. Okay, that's why.
Okay, sir.
First of all, why budget is important? First thing is that it is an intention of government to indicate that what are their priorities, what is their expenditure and revenue, sources of revenue for coming financial year. So whenever you are analyzing budget, at least you look into 3 aspects. Must look what is economic survey is saying, the latest economic survey and the previous economic survey. You know, there is a system that every budget is, before budget, there is a presentation of economic survey, which is something like a kind of whatever the travel path is. Budget is always ex ante before happenings. So it is a simple, a kind of commitment that yes, we are going to a promise, we are going to behave like this in coming period. Fine, it is a government's behavior, let it to be like that. How it makes a difference to us? Answer is, rest entire economic setup is going to behave as per the behavior of government. So budget, which is a mega component of fiscal policy, is important factor for rest of economic happenings, not only in within country, even with rest of the world. How our economy is going to get related with. So this is the importance, this is the relevance of budget. Now, how to, is it really a number, some facts and figures, or something more is there? It is facts and figures. There are two aspects of budget. One is quantitative, another is some policy components. Both aspects we will view. But most important is what these numbers speak. So it is not only data, the sound of data, the message from data, the resonance of data is important. So some of the facts and figures which has been said, you can easily notice from number of places. 39.44 trillion rupees is the expenditure, planned expenditure for government. See, lakh crore is trillion. So I'm basically making now the figure is visible to you. 39.44 or 39.45 trillion rupees is expenditure. Whereas the income of government is going to be only 22.83. So it is more than 16 trillion rupees, 16 lakh crore rupees is going to be deficit of the government. So first important point is, fine, it is their expenditure and revenue is there, but deficit is so big. This deficit, which is right now targeted to be 6.4%, which people may doubt that it might be possible keeping the economic condition in mind, it may go beyond 6.4%. So as a subject of, as a student of economics, question comes, how much should be the fiscal deficit or revenue deficit? So as per FRBM, that is fiscal responsibility and budgetary management, fiscal deficit should not be more than 3% and revenue deficit should not be more than 2%. That is a kind of acceptable limit. But here we know instead of 3%, it is more than double. And even the last time budget was, that is 21-22, budget was estimating 6.8% of fiscal deficit, which has turned this time 6.9%. This deficit is really a matter of great concern, not only for economy, not only for policymaker, even rest of the world keep on viewing our economy based on these deficits. Our ratings are affected with these deficits. So you have to be very careful when we try to highlight, when we try to view that how this deficit is going to get content. So first important question is how government is going to finance this deficit, and in long run how they are going to contain this deficit, how they are going to reduce this deficit. That's the first prime result we look. Second important point is there, interest expenditure is also a very big amount, and out of revenue receipts, 43% is going to be put on interest expenditure, which is a leakage, which is a pure leakage. Instead of having any development, since you borrow, let's suppose we talk about 16 trillion plus amount is going to be now deficit financing. If it is totally financed from borrowings, that borrowing will further add interest in coming period, and that will create a burden to the economy. And if that borrowing is very high, it will be a position, or it will be a situation will appear where government will not be in a position to honor that interest. Though we are in very comfortable position, there is no negative environment right now, because two reasons: our income is better. These kind of expenditure should not be a big concern, because government always maintain deficit financing. They present deficit budget, and that should be, it is a kind of a always respectable condition for a government to make deficit budget on the principle that government can see that, dear, whatever quantum of money or whatever amount we collect from you, more than that we spend on you. So our income generated from public is less than expenditure made on the public, made for the public, made for betterment of the public. That's the way government always justify the deficit budget. But how much deficit should be there is a matter of concern. Okay, how much is too much? We have already seen through FRBM. Now, there have been one important aspect. This time, government has been really very alert, and they have made that no reliance on extra budgetary resources. A question arises throughout globe, government, whatever they are reporting in the budget, sometime more than that, they are borrowing from outside or getting money from outside, and that becomes added burden to the economy, whether it is US economy, European economy, and any economy you talk about, even Japanese economy and others, they borrow. But India, who had been borrowing in 2017-18, it has been too much of extra budgetary resources borrowing were there. With this time, they have made it no, they will not be going to have it. Neither they are interested to take any NSS funds or any that kind of deposit funds. So it is also very good intention of the government that they want to make themselves very disciplined. Even these last 2 years, we all know, we have witnessed, it is a real tough time. And in that tough time, government is able to go on a disciplined path. Second important point is there are 13 broad ministry allocations, which has been, every ministry gets allocation, but highest allocation in top 13 ministries. Out of them, Ministry of Communication, Road Transport and Highway, and Jal Shakti had got a real quantum jump. Ministry of Communication has got 93% additional fund compared to previous budget, and so on, 52% additional to Transport and Highway and Jal Shakti. Here I like to highlight in 2017, when you revisit the budget of 2017, at that point of time, government has focused on three important terms. One was Jandhan account, second one was Aadhaar, and third was mobile. So very, sweetly called as JAM, Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile. Based on that Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile, government has been able to really have a very deep financial inclusion, and especially in this pandemic period, now more or less 2 years complete, because first case of the corona had been reported in India on January 27th, 2020, and first death was reported on 10th March 2020. That's the way COVID had been. So after 2 years of time, in this entire 2 years, the way government has handled the economy and very successfully, it is because of that Jandhan account, that Aadhaar, and that mobile. These three had been enabler. Similarly, this time, government is going to focus on communications, because entire digital country is possible only based on communication. Very fast movement, transports and highways, railways, roadways, airways, portways, all those which you have already highlighted in your beginning, PM Gati Shakti. And third one is Jal Shakti. That's a drinking water and water to one and all. This is what the prime. So whether it is a health hygiene, whether it is fast movement and communication is the focus area. That's the way. On the individual front, maximum salaried class and income class people, they look into how much income tax benefit is going to be. It has been this time untouched, because government, we were knowing that government will not be able to give any kind of facility, any kind of relaxation on any front. People had not expected anything in the slab, but certainly they were expecting something on Section 80C, where 1.5 lakh is the limit. So they were looking that some more added advantage should have been there, but somehow it has not been. And we were very clear that it will not be possible. But some added other component has been set, like LTCG. For common people, it is 10% beyond 1 lakh rupees of capital gain. But if capital gain is much, so this surcharge has been put only up to 50. The digital asset, which is called virtual virtual digital assets, commonly people call it cryptocurrencies, this has been taxed. This has got two signal. First signal is that yes, government is very clear that there is a time for digital asset to be in the mainstream. And second very important part is that even government is intended to come with the central bank digital currency. But one miscommunication, or not miscommunication, rather misinterpretation has been there in the market that just by taxing, the entire process is going to get legalized. I'll make you very clear. Taxing any income doesn't mean source of income or the way of earning income will become legalized. It's not that. So no way cryptocurrency is yet legalized in it. Understand government has never ever, and in budget never ever it has been used as a cryptocurrency. Rather it is a crypto asset, because currency is not never ever a matter of trade. It is the asset which is traded, it is the asset which is bought or sold, it is the asset whose price moves. Currency's price never moves. So even in foreign currency, you talk about USD, you talk about GBP, JPY, or euro or Swiss franc, or any currency you take, when there is a trade in that, we treat those currencies, or those currencies out of their currency land is treated as commodity, is treated as asset and not the currency. We treat USD in our country as an asset, not so. That's why price of USD keep on going up and down, and it is not the rupees. So that you have to keep in mind. And as a student of management, as a student of economics, this clarity is essentially required. Some other features are also there, like if suppose someone has wrongly filed the return, in another 2 years of time, they can, by paying 25% penalty, they can revise it. And second, interesting is very interesting part is that if it is earlier it was a criminal offense. Now by paying this, one can correct it is only a civil offense. That's why extra amount of payment will take care of the mistake. Not there will be no criminal cases against the SSE. Cooperatives related tax also has reduced from 18.5% to 15%, and surcharge from 12% to 7%, whose total income is between 1 crore and 10 crore rupees. New companies, if those any one of you are looking for a startup, and if you are going to have your registered a startup up to March 31st, 2023, means one more year it has got extended, your tax liability will be only 15% instead of the complete tax burden of a corporate. And some custom duties also has changed on some of the items. This is what broadly it has been discussed. Now, this slide is the main slide which I'm going to talk to you, say for around 15-20 minutes. And this is the master slide for a student of economics and finance. I hope everyone is properly getting and able to view these slides. Here you will like to see, if I make it, my screen has got two budgets at a glance. Just a second, let me have a write-up also. You will find out here in the left-hand side, my left-hand side is 22-23, the current budget, which we are supposed to analyze. And this is the older budget, 2021. Deliberately, I have taken that one notion always has been there, especially the critic of the government, that every time they come with some new things, exactly what is the progress. And as a student of economics, we must look into the progress. So now if you minutely observe, we will match it, and it is not only 1 year budget, rather you will find out here 2018-19 actual figures are available, 1920 budgeted figures are available, 1920 revised estimates are available, 2021 budgeted figures are available, and now you come to present one, 2021 actual figures are available, 21-22 budgeted figures are there, 21-22 revised figures are there, and finally 22-23 budget estimates are there. So Considering this, you will find out three here and two here, making a total 5 years of budget. So 5 years of not only budget, what actually government has been able to do, and that is ultimately a message from the government side that how they are progressing. Or as an analyst, I can contribute to understand what way it has been there. So I hope you all must be ready, and if you are going to have any question, please keep on jotting down. I'll give you a first figure related to what government has been collecting during these periods. So revenue receipts. Receiving is, this is the income of government. Receipts, this is expenditure of government. So first let's understand the income. So income also has got two parts, revenue income and capital income. Revenue income comes from two different ways, tax income and other income. Tax income also comes from two parts, direct tax and indirect tax. So revenue has got tax and non-tax incomes. Tax has got two parts, direct and indirect tax. Total revenue which in 1819 got collected was 15.52 trillion or 53 approximately, you can see. I'm sure it is less visible to you. So is it now visible? Are you able to see this 15.52 trillion? It is, this revenue is the
Yes.
actual revenue in 1819 has got, which in next year it was budgeted was 19.62, that is 1920 budgetage was 19.62, but we all know February onward internationally the problem has started. Our economy also got affected, and after 20th March we had headed towards lockdown. 22nd March onward, we all know that lockdown has been imposed. So we had suffering and we were not able to collect the targeted amount. So instead of 19.62 trillion rupees, we collected only, it is a revised estimate, 18.50 was there. The budgetary estimates of 2021, if you concentrate here, 2021 budgetary estimate was, that was 20.20. 20.20 means 20 trillion, 20 lakh crore rupees was estimated. Mind it, if this budget was 2021, 1st February 2020 budget was already presented. By 1st February, we were not knowing that how COVID is going to behave. We had just heard something is wrong in China, and that is related to, some virus, some problem is there. This is what we were knowing. So we had got a normal budget. 1st February, India was completely in a different kind of environment. Then after that, compare this 2020, what actually we collected and how much amount we have collected in 2021. What is the amount? It is 16.33. So instead of 20.22, instead of that 16.33, means approximately 2021 has been more or less 4 trillion rupees, 4 lakh crore rupees, the government has got lesser. So government has got a big dent in the income in 2021. That's what it is visible. I hope it is clear. Then second, you look into the next important point, just a minute. If you concentrate here in the expenditure side, revenue expenditure, one more thing, let's finish your earning also. Earning, if you concentrate, there was approximately, this earning you will not be able to visit here, because here it is a balance sheet, like balance 10, 20 plus 10, 30 is making, here expenditure is also 26 plus 4 making 30. So you will not be able to get capital receipt here. So time being, you leave capital receipt, just revenue receipt you concentrate. So 15.52 moved to 20.22 in 2021, which actually got collected 16.33. There is a 4 trillion loss. Now, when we talk about revenue expenditure, what was revenue expenditure planned in the government in 1819? 20.07. This was a planned expenditure, a revenue expenditure, how much revenue they had to put with. So 20.07, let's look it very clearly. 20.07 was in 1819, which you'll find out actually it was expenditure was how much? 30.83. Huge expenditure has been. So if you look into planned way, planned expenditure was 20 trillion, actual expenditure was 30 trillion. Revenue expenditure I am talking. Actual expenditure. This is 2021 I am talking. Sorry, here 26 trillion. Look into here this 2021 26 trillion is the 26.3 trillion is the revenue which you are coming here, and you are getting 30 trillion is the expenditure. So 4 trillion extra you have put 2021. So 2021 your revenue has been lesser and your capital has been your actual expenditure has been more. You look into this, how much actual expenditure, 30.83 has been there. So 30.83 versus 26, this is a big difference. 26.3 and 36, I'm repeating it. So your expenditure is high from 26.30 expenditure, your expenditure has become 30.83. So 4 trillion extra expenditure, and your revenue 20.20 was revenue targeted, whereas revenue collection was only 17.88. 16.33. So 4 plus 4, 8 trillion additional loss or additional gap got created. Whatever the quantum of money they wanted, that quantum of money they were not able to get it, whereas whatever they are able to they have to put expenditure, more than that they had put the expenditure, and that resulted into huge fiscal deficit in 2021. How much that fiscal deficit was there, that I can show you through this figure. You can have a look here directly. Here, fiscal deficit. How much fiscal deficit appeared? Actual fiscal deficit appeared in 2021 was 9.2%. Why 9.2% fiscal deficit was there? Because more than 4 trillion of revenue shortfall was there, and more than 4 trillion of expenditure was increased, making more than 8 trillion, approximately 9 trillion of additional amount was there, which was government had to take care. And that take care government became, it was criticized everywhere without knowing that yes, government has collected lesser money and spent more money. Now look into other component of this expenditure here. So we have compared it with 2021. So now here, if you concentrate, you will find out, just a minute. Here revenue expenditure in 21-22, it is 29.29 has been budgeted based on looking into that what kind of tougher time is going to be continuing. So in 21-22, when we say it is the current year, it will be over. This year will be over by 31st March. So it's still around more than 1 month is left for this year. So revenue they had targeted 29.29, keeping the past performance, keeping the past and the continued lockdown in this financial year in mind. Point number one. Point number two, they collected more, and revised estimate is now 31.67. So this is a kind of performance which one can view that this tough period, and we know if you talk about these 2 years, 2021 and 21-22, one more aspect has to be viewed. 2021 was very big damage at economic front, but somehow at the life front, at the health front, we had saved. The first wave we have saved. The world was suffering, developed countries were suffering, but we saved our life. Rather, we kept on doing varieties of activity during the lockdown period. Whereas in the second wave, which appeared in 21-22, that was last April and May, just even 1 year has not completed, April, May, it was on health front, we got big dent. Health front, we had got a lot of damage, but at economic front, somehow we maintained. And that maintenance is visible now from 29.29 trillion revenue target was there. That has been now revised estimate has come 31.67. And keeping that in mind, new budget estimate 31.94 trillion of revenue expenditure government is planning. That's what it is there. So this is revenue expenditure. Now for, I hope some of you are new management student, that is first year student or second year student. A question comes, what is revenue expenditure? Government has got a huge quantum of money to be paid in the form of salary, in the form of pension, in the form of rental, in the form of other charges, office charges and other things. Those expenditure which government can't avoid is what revenue expenditure is. Then what is capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is actually the developmental activities, planned activities like making roads, flyovers, bridges, railways, and so on. So many things, hospitals, schools and colleges, universities, various activities are there, which is a part of capital expenditure. So now we will view how capital expenditure has been there, how capital expenditure has been working. So if you look into capital expenditure, it started from 3 lakh crore to 3 lakh 38 crore. So this 3 lakh 7,000 crore moved to 3 lakh 38 crore, 3 lakh 48,000 crore, 4 lakh 12,000 crore. And this 4 lakh 12,000 crore, which is 2021, has been actual 4 lakh 26,000 crore. This is the capital expenditure. I am repeatedly saying that 4 lakh 12,000 crore. So do we agree now that 2021 has been tough period for us, where we had got more than 8 trillion of deficit in our collection of money? We had collected lesser quantum of money. हमें ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं मिला, but the 4 lakh 12,000 crore, 4 trillion, more than 4 trillion of expenditure plan, which was there, they will be making roads, they will be making railway tracks, they will be making so many things that they never compromised even in tough time. This is what the great respect this government deserves, that this 4 lakh 12,000, you look into 4 lakh 26,000 actual expenditure has been made. Capital expenditure has been made. Means 26 minus 12, making 14,000 crore additional capital expenditure has been there. Government didn't surrender that, yes, this is a tough time, we will be suspending the capital expenditure. It's not. Come to this next one, 5.54 lakh crores, that is 5.54 trillion rupees, which was original estimate even in tough time like your 21-22. Understand, this is 21-22, which got revised in this current year. We had a lot of damages. Corporates are still not working properly. We all know that liquidity is the biggest challenge in the banking system. People are not borrowing from banks. Banks are flooded with, cash deposits. High liquid is there. Still, government alone is taking care of it. And instead of 5.54 budget, their now revised estimate is on higher side, 6.02, means approximately 50,000 crore additional expenditure during this tough time government has made. And interestingly, government is now going to make it a very good quantum of, budget expenditure on capital front, that is 7.50, which is approximately 25% additional one. And this is what even stock market and maximum everyone who is looking into that, yes, what is going to be future, and we feel it, the kind of infrastructure project government is planning to launch either through this PM Gati Shakti or whatever you have seen separately, 25,000 kilometers of road has to be built. Lot of other, optical fibers to entire village of the country within 3 years of time has to be made. Everything, if you consider, it is what, capital expenditure is going to make it. This is the way through which even employment will get generated, because more and more project will come, employment will get generated. And that's why you must have seen that the stock market had really welcomed the budget in a positive manner. Keeping these things in mind, ultimately we say that revenue is this much only, approximately 16 trillion rupees of deficit is there, but government is not compromising. Had it been why I'm respecting repeatedly, not because of party, because of daring exercise. And I have now shown you from 1819 onward how the progressive capital expenditure has been there. If you look into capital expenditure from, I've shown you from 3 lakh crore in 1819, within 5 years of time, it is now 7 lakh 50,000 crore. If you compare from this figure to this figure, you will find out it is more than doubled. And this is the actual figure. More than double is there. Within 5 years of time, if you talk about it is going to be, growth rate, it is more than 15%. 15% growth rate is going to be there. This 15% growth rate indicates that on an average growth rate is there, which simply indicates the making of new India is going on. And the Amrit Kal, you introduced yourself also in another 25 years of time. By 2047, what kind of India will be there? That India will be basically India, a developed country, competing with most of the advanced economy in the world. That's the way it has been viewed. One more important point related to fiscal deficit, which I had shown. Now it is, if you look here, 2021, it was targeted 3.5%, where actually it has fallen to 9.5% because of that tough time, because of that problem, 9.5%. But again, they are reverting back. This current year, it is going to be 6.9%, and next year 6.4%. And by 26, they will be bringing it less than 4%. That is what dedication, that is what view which has been. So if you look into this time series and the cross-sectional measure, you will find out how the actual progress of budget is taking place in last 5 years of time. One more important point, I had deliberately not counted your capital receipt here, because capital receipt is not actually income. Rather, some portion will be income, inflow will be there, but majority is borrowings. Because budget is like a balance sheet. Balance sheet has to be balanced. Liability will always be equal to asset. So exactly that way it has been there. So you can get it very clear. 31.94 trillion is your revenue expenditure, and capital expenditure is 7.50, making total 39.44. That is what it is going to be. Now, out of this 39.44, only 22.83 you are going to receive as a revenue, and your deficit is, which I am repeatedly 16 trillion I was talking about, deficit is 16.61, means more than 16.5 trillion rupees is going to be deficit. Out of this deficit, from where money will come, what will be the various sources of money, various sources of borrowing or getting some alternative financing is going to be challenged, and which madam has made it very clear that we are not going to make any crowding out in the Indian economy. So it can be visible here. Fiscal deficit you can look upon. One more interesting part, actual fiscal deficit has been here. Look, if related to 2021, budgeted deficit was 15.06 trillion in 21-22, revised is only slight more, that is 15.91. Even not 1 trillion of deficit has increased in this current financial year. That is purely tough time. So it simply indicates the quantum of jump which has been there is hardly anything, and that's why based on this, if you consider here, it is again not very big money. So government is very much working in disciplined way. These things I'm not going to talk to you, but except one important point, that if you talk about this 16.61 here, it has been put here in the form of borrowings, but instead of borrowings, government is interested now that can it be possible some alternate means of financing will take care of it so that borrowing should not increase. One of that alternate is through public-private partnership. PPP mode is there. Second, we all know that government is trying to disinvest. So you look into budgetary disinvestment was there 1,75,000 crore in 21-22, but the process got delayed. That's why they have revised it only 78,000 crore, and this amount is going to get collected by the government through disinvestment, and here disinvestment of LIC is going to take place. LIC is going to fetch by within next month of time, you will find out LIC scripts 5% of issues will be available in the market, which will be closer to 78,000 crore rupees. That is what the estimate has been made, and another 5% will get issued in next year, means 22-23, and there that's why the 65,000 has been there. So if you compare the original budget of the disinvestment versus the current budget of disinvestment, it has been dramatically different, and it is more realistic in nature. So that's why this negativity is because of more realistic. Okay, that's the way one can look upon the budget figures. Now, some more important part is which I'll try to highlight here, that you will find out government has not only if gone for high capital expenditure, look into rural India. So if suppose any kind of grants or any kind of facilities government is going to make it, now this figure, a lot of these things need very insight and good explanation, which will be time consuming. So anyone can ask me afterward the question associated to it. What I want to highlight, that government is very much making the pan-India growth. It is not only to some pocket. So look into the amount compared to urban local bodies to a rural local bodies, amount is double, which simply indicates that more and more development is going to be horizontally spread throughout country, so that maximum inclusive growth could be possible, and most of the people should participate into it. So this is the way you'll find out. This is the breakup of your 3944, the government expenditure. You might have the feeling ki, okay, where it will be. So this is a central expenditure which is purely, you can say, salary and pension, and establishment expenditure is around 7. So this is the way this breakup one can view. Now, I have already highlighted 3 of the sectors. First sector is 93.3%. This is the 13 ministries which is getting more. So 93.3% growth has been there to communication. Then you will find out 52% where it is. 52% of growth is there of road transport and highways. This is second level. And 25% of growth is there to Jal Shakti, which is again drinking water should be available to all, so that at least waterborne diseases could be reduced to a greater extent. That's the way it is viewed. Okay, that's the again breakup from different ministry point of view. One can look into this, where it is at what ministry level this entire expenditure is broken up. So defense budget is also comparatively, if you look into defense budget, is really very, very big, very big budget. Now people have got a good criticism that growth wise defense growth is very low, but if you look vertically, defense is the ultimate, quantum wise defense is the highest which is taking, and that's the way it is moving, right? Guess you leave it, not required for you. This is also one thing which I had, because MG Narega had been always considered one of the important scheme of government. People are very much aware of, because a lot of discussion in public forum has happened to this. So that's why I have taken From 1718 onward, if you look into, I have put some handwritten figures here. So 1718 to 22-23 figures are available. In 1718, 48,000 crore rupees was your budget in 1718, which increased to 55,000 crore, but actual expenditure in 1819 was 61,000 crore. Budget again, keeping actual expenditure of 1819 in mind, government went for 60,000 of the budget, which actual expenditure went to 71,000. What simply it indicates, now budget has been made, but whenever it is required, government has been in a position to pump more and more money. Keeping this budget again, that no, we will try to make MG Narega within that limit. So from 60,000, they moved to 61,500. But because of tough situation, look into the kind of growth which has taken place. It is budget was 61,500, whereas it is somewhere around 1,11,170 crore rupees of actual expenditure in 2021 has been there. Actually, money has been distributed. Now there is an inquiry that a lot of frauds has been made into this. An inquiry committee has started working, looking into last 2 years of this. Then similarly, actual budget was made in 21-22, 73,000 crore rupees, but now because of those excess, revision has gone to 98,000 crore, and now they are again making a budget of 73,000, which is at par with the previous budget. People simply say that this is what the so many has started highlighting. It is anti-poor, anti-rural, all those things. So many things I kept on hearing in the media without looking into that. They always compare this 98,000, which has been extra expenditure. They compare it and they highlight that common language is there that government has reduced the budget for MG Narega. No, it is not true. Government has maintained it. I'll try to highlight one more point from MG Narega here. Is MG Narega is no way rural employment guarantee. Okay, employment provision. It is only a rural employment guarantee. Means if money is spent, doesn't mean that your production is taking place, because you have promised that if suppose someone is not getting a job, then also they will get income on daily basis at least for 100 days in a year. Means distribution of money is no way a kind of signal that yes, people are employed. So what is very important, why government is always curtailing. You look into when 71,000 crore was the actual expenditure in 1920, government reduced it to 61,500 because government wanted to bring those workforce who are not getting job into job through that infrastructure development, infrastructure costs. So instead of getting earning money without work here, taking money without work here, government is requesting them, please come and join the job, work in the project. So that here I'll tell you, reduction of amount here in MG Narega will be and should get reconfirmed through the unemployment level and ultimately leading to a condition whether we are growing or not. If MG Narega is going to keep on increasing every year and mounting every year, then in that case our economic performance is not improving. So take it is a two kind of signals one can look from MG Narega. Don't be half-hearted that yes, unemployment allowances is there. If you keep on increasing unemployment allowance, doesn't mean that economy is progressing. That is not a right signal. So look these things. That's why MG Narega I had highlighted here. Lot of people I have found, lot of economists also I have found in the media misinterpreting it, wrongly putting into public domain that government has been lesser into it. Okay. Am I audible throughout?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I thought that a long flow has been there. If any kind of question you require, because or otherwise, can I take 5-10 minutes more and then question answer will be better?
Yes, sir. We'll keep the Q&A round at the end.
Okay, fine. So these all are some added comparison between UPA government and NDA government has been made. NDA government has really put extra money. UPA government in 5 years of time, starting from 2008 to 2014, had put 1.91 lakh crore, whereas 14 to 20 2.95 lakh crore, and we know 2021 alone only 1.1 lakh crore has been there. So that's the way increment has been put. This I have already discussed with you. Yes, come to fiscal deficit. That's a one thing which is okay, very very important, and that is related to how fiscal deficit to be counted. Look here in financial year 2010, when we had global financial crisis. Now our crisis was not that big, but still fiscal deficit was somewhere around 6.6% in year 2010. After that, it is 2021, which is up to 2020, we had got 3.3%, but actually 9.5%, which I had shown you, it has increased. Considering it is one of the tough, and if you look into global one, when it was 9.5%, a lot of people in the ministry also said that, and especially those who wanted to criticize the entire concept, they said that government is now doing nothing. I said no, it is a tough time, and I know so many European countries who have got deficit in double digit, and I know the countries who have deficit somewhere running from 10% to 21% of their GDP. So if it is there, our country, even at that point of time in 2021 also, I kept on saying that if it is uh, say double digit also, say 10% or 10.5% also, at least I will not be disturbed. I know that two things. One, first thing is that period is very tough. We have to keep on feeding daily wages worker. We have to keep on transferring fund through direct benefit transfer. I was talking about how it has been enabled. Entire transfer, you have seen 1,11,000 crore rupees that has gone through direct benefit transfer, DBT. Vaccination, Aadhaar has been one of the, and Aadhaar and mobile has been one of the best exercise, and it is a digital way we have kept on receiving our certificate. Even in USA, till date, certificate is handwritten, and because of handwritten certificate in USA, lot of corruption is there in the issue of the certificate, whereas here in our cases, in this biggest drive of the vaccination, we all know it is around approximately 174 crores of dosage has been injected, and most of the part of the country it is smooth, it is normal. That is what I was talking, Jandhan account, Aadhaar and mobile, how it has become enabler. Why, how it is going to help you. And look into the next period. Now this 6.8% has turned to 6.9%. Never mind, ultimately it is on a downside. Okay, it is on downside, and it is more realistic in nature. Look into, even after revised estimate, it is only 0.1% of deviation has been there. So our estimate has been more realistic, more proper. These figures we can ignore. You can look these things in the slides. Here, one important point: income tax 15%, corporation tax 15%. Making these two taxes, how much total is there? This is 30%. So your direct taxation is 30%. And if you talk about indirect taxation, excise duty 7%, GST 16%, making it 23%, custom 5%, that is making it 28%. So indirect taxation is 28% of revenue. Now look into direct taxation is more than indirect taxation. This is somehow, especially in country like India, I'm not comfortable with. If you are moving ahead, because we all know direct taxation, there is a huge leakages. So means you are compulsorily paying, making it 1.58 crore population in India pay income tax. 1.58 crore only. Return filing is a little higher number now, closer to 5 crore, but actual taxpayers are, less than 1.6 crore. In a country which has got population of around 130 plus crore. There, where tracking the income is tough, only limited class of people are paying you tax, then it's better to go for rely on more indirect taxes rather than direct taxation. That's why you will find out this is always a kind of thing. Can it be possible we should not have income tax? Okay, that kind of a view is also there. But again, a second question, if not income tax, that where we should get it. This part, this 35% of borrowing is really another concern for me. Government should look into what are the different alternatives. Government should apply here alternative financings or global financings, some other barter arrangement so that development should continue, development engine should not stop, and people should not be burdened. So government has to be very, cleverly, they have to take care. So these are the concern areas which I expect government must be deliberating to a greater extent. This is I have picked from money control related to previous years, how it has been working. So the point this year I gave you, previous year, this is the way it is coming up. Now, new two, three things are there. In another 5 minutes of time, I'll finish my talk. First thing is, it is related to Bitcoin. We know effectively 31.2% of taxation is going to be there, inclusive of surcharge. I have already discussed that part. But the most important is so many countries, whether it is US, United Kingdom, Germany, everyone has got taxation. So it is not a surprise. We are not the first to tax them. Okay, this is also a little bit budgeted versus actual disinvestment. Some policy. So till time we were talking about all whatever it was related to data, related to number, related to facts and figures. Now some other things has been there for MSME, where a lot of policy care has been set. MSME has been a very priority for government starting from May 12th, 2020. And MSME has got lot of boosters, lot of financial injections, financial supports from the government, and government is expecting that they will be ultimately performing to make the India progress. Health and nutrition is another focus. River linking is the third point, which is a continued but very, very ambitious project, continuously progressing. And these all things are going to have a very heavy employment, especially to those who are unskilled. Labor and employment also has got certain focus, and infrastructure, especially to Northeast, is a true focus area of the government. Roadways, 25,000 kilometers. Here, this is the mega cost going to be there. And suggestion is, expectation from the government is, they should take a route of PPP rather than borrowing. They should take a route of PPP. That's the way they should work with. Similarly, railways, it is one station, one product, so many schemes. Here also PPP. And telecom through privatization. Through private companies, it will be there. So even investment will be there, but maximum private participation will take care of the growth that is required. And one more, which is having three benefits. Benefit number one is going to be environmental friendly. Benefit number two is going to be our dependence on the fossil fuel will reduce to a greater extent if this battery swapping policy will get adopted. If it will become feasible, sustainable, and little price of the electrical vehicle is going to be cheaper, we should shift smoothly. So first is, of course, it is environmental friendly. Second one is our dependence on the fossil fuels will be lesser. Third, it will improve our balance of payment. We will be able to use our international reservoir for some better and other progress rather than just consuming on the road in the form of fuels. So this is what it is going to be. Mega question is from where funding will come. And one of the suggested suggestion has already been highlighted in the budget, that is called sovereign green bonds. So green bonds is also going to get issued, and it will take care of the things. How these are the various important part, it is a lot of issues are there. I'll it itself is a around 1 hour discussion how these things should work. In 2007, first time World Bank had issued green bonds. Now entire digital environment is going to be there, and I'm hopeful that in another 5 to 6 years of time, latest by 26, 27, if things will remain same, we will be in a position to achieve our $5 trillion economy, and by 2030 10 trillion economy. By 2030, we will have the eco-friendly fuel throughout country, and we will have digital currency in place, which will be based on identity, that is Aadhaar, that also through electronic KYC clearance, global payment through unified payment interface, and data empowerment through DigiLaw. So one number, this, two number, this, and three number, this is going to make our country a digital country competing with all advanced economy that is there. And indicating it, we can see, we can view that this budget has got, in last 10 years of budget I have highlighted, this budget has got highest market moral support. That market really rebound, market moved approximately 5%, you know, upward movement, 5% growth in the same day, in a single day, on the budget day. This is the budget day, three actions. So various dimensions one can discuss, but these are the certain aspects I wanted to highlight as a student of economics to you. I have a faith, and faith is the word that fills the light and sinks when the dawn is still dark. Means things will unveil, people will come to know these things in due course of time. But as a student of economics, as an analyst, we can really view these things that yes, we are expecting and very hopeful in another 10 years of time, India will able to transform its economy. Thank you. This is what I wanted to point out to you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for making such an excellent presentation and sharing with us the deep insights of this budget. Thank you so much. Brinda?
That was indeed a very informative and eye opening session, sir. I'm sure that each one of us here now has a better perspective on the budget 2022-23 and its criticalities. Now the stage is open for your queries. You may put them in the chat box and we'll take them up.
Okay, one by one questions can be there. Yes.
Yes, Brinda, would you be putting up the questions, Brinda?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please take up the question, Muche.
Sir, Shrishti has asked, why is a digital rupee being introduced in India?
Will be introduced in India. It is yet not introduced. By 23, after 1 year of time, we are expecting it will be there. See, there is no choice. Right now, for a year or two, we can have choice. But when you said that you are entering in Amrit Kal and the kind of digital India we are expecting, without digital currency, digital India will not be possible. So later on, sooner it is a compulsion. Right. Only one thing is that it has got a good part. It will be based on blockchain concept. So it will have its automatic trailing. The people who are actually evading the tax and doing nonsense, government will able to know from where to where money is going. So even those lobby will not like to see this should appear. This should come.
Exactly. Oh, yes, sir. Sir, Reshba has asked, in a country like India, don't you think electronic vehicle adoption is going to be a difficult task?
Why I feel so? Country like India, which is a populous country, which itself is a continent, it will, if they adopt, they will improve their balance of payment. We, that whatever fuel we are consuming, 83% is imported. Around approximately 31% of total import bill is just because of fossil fuels. And that also, Middle East, what is that recently, our crude price has already crossed $100. That's what the recent part, just because of Russia has got problem, or NATO has got problem, Ukraine has got problem, and we are going to pay higher bill for that. So why not we should have something which is actually, you plug and play, you will enjoy. and it is environmental friendly. Now for last 3 years in Delhi, what was happening, of course, excluding this last 2 years, that there was a school closure just because there is a too pollution. Don't forget that. So it is a heavy pollution, and then what the making odd even concept. You have odd vehicle, then you go. This will be allowed. This will not. This is not a solution. This is not a solution. So you have to have a solution. Solution is that let's minimize the emission. How much emission you can minimize? It is required.
Right,
So
sir.
that's why it is essentially required.
As the world is moving towards action,
Not
climate
only that, government has already shown the intention. I have not, talked that aspect. Two rupees surcharge is going to be there after 1st October 2022 if ethanol blending is not there. I think this is also a part of budget. Ethanol blending is required, but I am having another question to the government. Are you prepared? Because people don't know. Any one of you are aware of how much ethanol blended fuel is available in the market? It is only 8%. And from where ethanol will be coming up? Mostly from sugarcane and some of the maize and other. So is our agriculture ready to supply that much of ethanol in the country that entire fuel will get blended? These are the certain questions. That also by 1st October. But then I again congratulate government. Okay, no harm in setting very ambitious target.
Right.
Finally, if not possible by 1st October, at that point of time, government will say, okay, I'm extending the date by 1st April onward, it will be there. But at least people will try to make their fast. Don't forget that this is the government who has jumped from, Bharat 4 or Euro 4 level to Bharat 6 level in one go. That's what the strict norms has been. And our Prime Minister has already promised that by 2050, we will have our, renewable energy in a mainstream. And by 2070, we will have a kind of a complete emission norms covered. In the COP26 in Glasgow, last year it has been promised. So we have to make it possible.
Yes, every little step counts.
Yes.
Sir, Sunishta has asked, El Salvador has given legal status to Bitcoin. It is legalized to bring financial inclusion, investment and economic development in the country. With growing acceptance of Bitcoin, what can be a possible reason that India has not legalized it yet, other than the fact that the government is already working on to have its own currency?
I'll tell you, no country has legalized it. El Salvador example, which you are quoting, where El Salvador's currency had been highly inflated and they had to drop it. So what they smartly did it, since they had to drop anything, they were suffering from that. So they used this currency as a part of, currency. IMF is continuously talking to El Salvador not to do this exercise because see, currency should be always a legal tender. Understand, those who are a student of economics must understand this. Currency should be legal tender. If it is not a legal tender, tomorrow if any locus standi is required in the door of court, you will know where. If your asset is, suppose someone declares that okay, it is gone, its value is over, it is not. Ask question to yourself, what is the underlying of your Bitcoin? From where value will be coming up? So you can keep on, so far as trading is concerned, trading can done for anything. I can trade on your smile. People trade on, next ball will be sixer or not. We all know how it is to be there. Entire, lottery system has been trading on the number system. Casino, you look into, there is also a trading center, but that is not having a base. So without underlying, it will always be a problem. You must look into it. So far as some corporates come, even I have heard that Elon Musk has also come and ready to accept it. One can accept it. One can say, you give me chair and table, I'll give you that. We know buying asset by giving share. So company issue share and procure equipment. Doesn't mean share has become the currency. Understand? So don't get confused with the payment part also. Understand economic aspect of it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for answering that. Sir, Naira is asking, what does the statement taxing cryptos doesn't mean it has been legalized implies?
Understand that, taxing any income is legalizing the income, not the way of earning income. Suppose there is a mafia who keeps on murdering and every murder 1 crore rupee charge, 10 murder in a year, 10 crore rupees income, go to income tax, declared I am earning 10 crore, paying 30% tax payment, his entire income is now white income, but his act has not been legal act. Why people don't declare like that? Because they know it is now income tax responsibility. When they come to know from what is the source of income, they have to inform police. It is the responsibility of police. Income tax has to do nothing that you are earning through, stealing, you are earning through murdering, you are earning through some doing wrong act. The moment you declare your income become whites. So it will be income becoming white doesn't mean your trade. Tomorrow, if you have any trade dispute, where you will go? Whom you will make responsible? And that kind of dispute has already been there. Fraud has already been there in the Bitcoin. If suppose someone has got that it is safe, it is crypt. It is crypt, but then again fraud is there. And even as, don't go far away, even in Gurgaon, people have already lost a complaint. Police simply asked under which section I should book your complaint. I don't have any section related to it. So please go. Now where you will go? That's what legality is there. Be very careful.
Right.
When you will declare that I have bought a car or I have bought a house earning from crypto, and you will show that I have already paid the tax, so no income tax rate will be on you. That is only assurance.
So that was a great example. I think we all have a better understanding of it now. Sir, Srishti is asking, is it right to say that due to increase in capex this year, the grants allocated for states will be compromised?
No. What is India, dear? India is a state, group of states. Anyway, India is a nation, but unfortunately, some people in parliament I have heard saying that India is not a nation. That is a wrong part, but India is a nation. Only one thing is there, that somewhere some state has to take care of it. I had skipped some of the slide where there was centrally sponsored scheme, central schemes. That scheme has to operate somewhere. It has to work somewhere. If you remove the entire state and union territory, have you got any state? Any place of nation where you will find out India? So kahin to hoga na, kisi ko to hoga somewhere. So it is not like a state is going to get compromised.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for answering our questions. It was really helpful, and I'm sure everybody has a better understanding of the budget now.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And you people also gave me a very patient listening. That was really good. Thank you. I hope I have tried to give you some insight related to budget and how to look the budget.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being there for us.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, can you stop presenting the screen?
I'm going to do that.
Yes.
I've
Gunjan,
done
can you
that.
please share the screen?
Is Gunjan there?
Yes, ma'am. she's here.
I have stopped sharing.
On behalf of the Department of Financial Studies, Shahid Rajguru College of Applied Sciences for Women, University of Delhi, I, Tanishka, would like to present Sir with a letter of gratitude. Sir, your valuable insights have given us an immense sneak peek into the way the budget works. The Department of Financial Studies extends our heartfelt gratitude to you for addressing today's session by devoting your precious time. We would like to thank all the attendees for being here and showing such enthusiasm. Also, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to our principal, Professor Dr. Payal Mago, for providing us with the opportunity to conduct this session. Last but not the least, we take this opportunity to extend our heartiest thanks to all the teachers for their constant support and motivation. Now, I would like to request all the attendees to turn on their videos for a group photograph.
Everyone, please switch on the camera. Students.
Yes, beta, have you taken the screenshots?
Yes, ma'am, done. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Once again, sir,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone, for joining